Today I'm going to show you a way that you can respond against the Slav defense. Before we get into it, I'm going to say that I use this method in order to play against the Slav defense, and I think that it will be a pretty cool way for you to counterbalance your chances against the Slav defense. The Slav defense is, before we get into the opening, is a way you can play against the Queen's Gambit. It can lead to fun variations we'll get into in a little bit. With you playing the setup, you will avoid a lot of theory, you will throw your opponent's theory out of the window, and you will play in a way that you like. First of all, before we get into it, I want to say that I actually took a look at the database. I got myself a couple of games that I played with it, and yeah. Let's get into it. So, you're gonna play d4. If you're e4, sorry, you probably need to watch a different opening, like the Italian game. They're gonna play d5. You'll play c4. They'll play the Slav. This is the Slav defense. If you remember, I actually made a video on the Slav defense. It is the pseudo-Slav. Link in the comments and the description. Okay. And you will play knight c3. They'll play knight f6. And now you will play 4 f4. The engine, at a lower depth, doesn't completely like it. I'm going to be completely honest. Well, it basically think, like, well, the pawn is kind of an odd place. At 2000, yeah, it might look a little weird. But at, like, lower than 1800, not a lot. It's going to look pretty solid. And I actually played this, like I said in the beginning, in a tournament. And I drew against some high-rated opponent. So, your game plan is pretty simple. Obviously, your opponent's not going to play like this. You're going to put the knight here. You're going to fianchetto. Let's say like so. And then you are going to solidify your pawn chain. And you're going to castle. That is your game plan. Now, what can they do? Let's get on to the replies. Alright, so let's begin. Again, let's go set it up to the position that we want. So, let's begin. What if they take the pawn? This is the first reply we're going to cover. So, you will just go e3. If they try to attack you, you've got the option of going a4, Queen's Gambit style, and put a significant amount of pressure to their destroyed pawn chain, which is what I recommend you to do. And if they ever do this, you will go here, and now both pawns are hanging. You can only defend one of them, and now you're getting your free development, and the Queen's Gambit is a success. If they attack your bishop, you have the option of taking their thing, or developing, and if they ever take, like so, it looks like you've weakened your pawn chain and given them this nice little outpost square, but after a couple of moves, let's say they just improve their position just a tiny little bit, and you just develop, they develop, you castle, and just a couple moves in, their position isn't that good. I mean, yes, their knight is like there, but you can just get quickly rid of it. And after you get rid of their knight, then they will try to get another knight in, but you will just be there to extinct that knight that just came, like so. Let's to show you, like, just a couple of, let's say that, you go here. That was a voice crack by me. I apologize. And they play, like, a queen move that just develops. You will get rid of this knight as well. And look at that. All of the opponent's strong pieces have been removed. Now, this move is real strong according to the game engine, but after you just either remove this rook or this rook, which this rook honestly looks a lot better, and they try to put more pressure, you have the option of doubling up the rooks, takes, and takes. Your pawn structure might not look as good, but let me tell you right now, you've got equal material, you've got a nice little dominant d file in the future you're going to crash through, and you look pretty good. So, if they ever take the pawn, just remember the steps. Let's go to the next reply, and one of the most challenging ones. Back to f4, this is the second reply, and the most challenging one. Bishop to f5, this is a really challenging reply. If you remember from the pseudo-Slav video, that is one of the core moves that people want. People want to achieve this nice little e6, and have their bishop out, and everything defended set up. What you can do is play e3 here, which is what I recommend highly that you do. E3 is what you want to play. Obviously, if you take the pawn, you will take back with the bishop, and you've got a pretty nice little game. So they're going to play E6 to, solidify. What you want to do is you can put your bishop on a nice little square, or you can develop your knight, which is what I recommend. After that, they will, let's say, develop in a pretty nice fashion. You will try to fianchetto. Or, if you're scared of the dark square bishop, you can play A3 here, and, get rid of any problems by them pinning your knight. And this is what I recommend. If they ever pin your knight, just fianchetto your bishop. I know this gives away a lot for the white side, for the black side, but just go here. The engine doesn't like it, but trust me, this position is really good. If they take the free pawn, their structure is kind of fucked. Let me tell you right now. And you will try to regain this pawn, and if they try to defend it, you got a nice little A4 here. I know the engine, of course, doesn't like it. Or you could just castle and have zero problems. And now their structure is kind of funny because of, the double pawns. And you will easily exploit them. Like, after they go here, you can kick away their bishop or play A4. And trust me, A4 looks absolutely nice. If they castle, you will take, and they will take back. And their pawns look horrible. I mean, they're kind of advanced. You can try to win them with, like, the queen going here and here. They're going to defend them. And, lose this pawn, which is kind of funny. And if they go here, you're going to trade. They're going to take. And then you're just going to go back. I mean, straight, that is the whole game plan. You're just going to go backwards and all that in between. And trades are very imminent, like so. And now there's just ridiculous queen moves, like getting the queens off the board. And now there's like moves like this. And the end game gets slightly complicated, but if you know what to do, you will be just fine. So if you ever have to encounter bishop f5, I recommend going e3. And after they play e6, the pseudo-Slav setup, you will just go knight f3. If they develop the knight, go g3. And if they don't pin your knight, just go there, and you're fine. And if they keep castling, that is okay. And actually, before you even fianchetto the bishop, just take the pawn. And they've got two good ways. I recommend taking with the c-pawn. And then you will put your bishop on the light squares on the diagonal. You will castle. You can either win this outpost with your knight, or be a little patient and castle first. And if they do this, you can, of course, take the outpost square, or develop your bishop. If they do this, they lose on the spot because of knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes, pawn takes, and you take with the queen here, and a lot of things are hanging at the same time. The rook moves, and then, you kick out this bishop. And as you can see, if you actually move your bishop, it is even worse. Takes and takes, and I mean, if you can move the bishop, it's dead. That bishop is dead. And if you try to desperado as well, yeah, the position is awful. And checkmate is threatened. You need to block it, and you can take the free pawn, but then you'll lose a bishop, so you don't do that. And you defend this pawn, and slowly you're going to win. And if they go queen here, you will just trade. And if they try to literally kick you out, you could just take this. It's just a free knight. There's nothing that they can do. They have to find ridiculous queen engine moves to to not lose. And actually, there's a tactic here. That tactic is this. Basically saying, I'm sacrificing. You're gonna take like this. You'll block. I'll go here, and you're doomed. There's nothing. You just +5, +6, about to be +6, and it's kind of over. So they cannot do that tactic with the knight just jumping on the outpost square. That is impossible. So what they can do here is they can take the knight. What do you take here with? If you take with the pawn, the engine absolutely hates it. You know why the engine hates it? Not because of this move, but because of this. And I cannot explain why. Because you're just going to go here. But probably after this, then, it is really strong. I actually don't mind with what you take, but I probably recommend if you took with the bishop, allow their knight to jump in. It is fine if you have to retrade. You will just move your rook, They will move. Oh, I'm sorry, not like this. They'll move their rook, and you'll move your queen. Attack this, and then they'll go here. You can move your bishop to like a different square, like so. You can do that. It's actually pretty good, and they'll have to move again. And then attack them and avoid avoid having to trade your dark square bishop for their knight. But actually, their knight is kind of strong, so you don't actually mind if they take your bishop. But hey, this position is really heading for a draw. You can even take this. You can even take this if you want, and then block like this. And if they take, of course, this position is even more draws. Because their bishop cannot actually hurt your pawns, and that is a plus. You can just replace all your pawns to the dark squares, and the bishop cannot do any damage to you, and your light squares are just controlled by your bishop. Maybe in the future you're going to trade bishops, but for now, you're going to be pretty chill. So that is what I have in store for you for the bishop f5 line, and I will show you a couple more lines, and you'll probably be good to go to play some games. One more line. What if they don't play pawn takes, bishop f5, I'm sorry. What if they just straight up go e6 and play it in the semi-Slav style? Well, what you're going to do here, you've got two options. You can, of course, do this, like we said, and reinforce the pawn. You can take their pawn, but I don't like it. I recommend defending like this. Well, they lock their position on their own, and they will have to, like, base it off in, like, variations like the Sempenenko Slav and play with their flank pawns and stuff like that. Let's say they develop, and you're just going to do your regular setup. I mean, your setup remains unchanged. You'll put your knight here. They've got a really close position. You're just going to put your bishop here. They can even take this, doesn't even matter. But if you don't want to lose a pawn for nothing, you can just take the... Oh, sorry, that is a bad move. Taking with either pawn, in my opinion, looks better. Taking the c pawn is better, in my opinion, because, you know, open c file, you actually get an opening. You will develop your bishop on the open diagonal, which is semi-open, not open. Let's say they just try to develop as well. You have the option of going here to block any pins, or go straight up here, and, you know, if they do this, you just kick them out. Just like that. If you take with the b pawn, you actually lose, because your king will just be stuck on the center for no good reason. So don't take with the b pawn, take like this. And now, actually, if this happens, you can attack the rook. That is the difference. You can attack the rook and actually plant your knight there and take with this f pawn is actually even worse. So you gotta take with the e pawn. Now you have to take it and severely damage their pawn structure. And then you could just castle by hand. And I mean, if they do this, that's ridiculous. So they're gonna do something like, you can take the queen here, and they gotta bring their stuff in, and then you will castle by hand. And again, what you have achieved is your pawns, all of them being on the dark squares in an opposite color bishop endgame, and you will most likely get a very quick draw here, because all your pawns are the dark squares. Almost all their pawns are on light squares. You've got a dark square bishop, they've got a light square bishop. If the rooks are traded and a couple pawns, this will be an easy draw, despite the structure of black and your structure looking like this. Let's say you start trading, let's say you just actually start trading like a psychopath. This will be an easy draw for you. I mean, yes, they can do this. They just got this nice little, oh my god, this outpost. This position most likely will end in a draw. And I don't mean this as a threat. Even a draw is even good for you. So that is what I have for this entire thing. If you don't want to deal with the pin and you just want to castle immediately, you're allowed to castle. Now they can do this and attack your bishop. You will move your rook here. You will either move your rook here or here. Both moves are fine. If you are more fond of opening up the f file, you might move it here. Or fond of opening the e file, you might move it here. It depends on your taste. Let's go here. They attack it, you will take. They take. You move your knight. Literally, you've got the option to gambit the pawn like this. You've got the option to gambit, and then sorry about that. That was a Discord DM for somebody. And if they take it, actually, then you will just take back the spawn and attack the rook, and things are gonna get a little spicy, but nonetheless still fine for both sides. Both sides have equal chances in this position. Let's get a couple moves later, and yeah, this position looks absolutely nice for both. Both sides have their plus and their ups and downs. You have the bishop pair. They have a lot more little solid position, and with good play, you will probably win or draw. And if you blunder your queen, you will lose. That is if you go the F file approach. Now, if you go for E file, that move is still kind of strong. You can take, and you've got the option of, going here now. And if they play this move, I mean, you'll just get your queen out. They gotta defend the spawn. It's a pretty important pawn. You get your knight involved. Taking the spawn is an absolute sin, so they're not gonna do that. So they might attack it. Now you've got the option of moving it somewhere, like this. And if they take it, attack the rook, like so. They can go danger levels, but that's kind of a hard move to spot. Honestly, not too hard to spot, but you can just go here. If they danger level you again, well, there's a free pawn there. But according to the engine, now black is better. I don't understand why. You will just get your bishop involved. You can attack your queen. We'll go here. And then there's this, which does a discover attack on your queen. I don't know how you're going to get involved into the situation. You probably shouldn't get involved. And instead just, after, this exchange, you just, I don't know, before you get involved in all of this, you should probably just, go here, and defend this. Unfindable. People might call you out for cheating, but trust me, it's a good move. And now, if I was black here, I'd most likely put some more pressure on this knight. However, now there's problems. There's a tactic. Oh, you like tactics, don't ya? And there's problems here because you cannot go here because takes, and they win the bishop. And now black is kind of messed. But the position is only 0.8 and rising. Never mind. The moment I say that, position is so bad. Because, they're down material. They're kind of down material. You've got a nice little pawn. You got a nice little 2-on-1 majority on the queen side. Their pawns are doubled and cannot move. The E file, the E pawns are doubled. And they're kind of weak as well. Might not be easily exploitable now, but in the future, in the end game, like when pieces are traded, those pawns are falling. Trust me. Okay. So we've got even a reply for when you move the rook here. So, to sum it up, what you will do, if they play e6, you'll go e3, a6, these are one of their moves. But honestly, if they play literally anything else, like, bishop b7, your setup remains the same. The castle, you go here. They play in a locked style, and again, if you don't want to gambit, go ahead and take, and take, and develop, and I don't know, b5 here, ridiculous move, gambiting the pawn, and essentially get this attack going. And if you retreat, then there's tactics and shit. Yeah, there's like this, and then this pawn moves here. You can castle by hand here. It's not terrible, but you will need to acknowledge the fact that your position might crumble. As you can see, it is minus 1.4 for black here, which is crazy. So that is with e6. Now, apart from e6, now let's get to some other replies. Now I'll show you some other replies that I got played. e6 being one of them. Bishop f5 being one of them. Taking the pawn, not as much, but it is a reply. So, another reply is they just moved their knight here. That is just bad, because you're just going to take this pawn. They take it with a pawn, and then you will just go for the same setup. And a6 is just the top engine move. I mean, just go fianchetto your bishop or something, and then you will just go your normal stuff, you fianchetto the bishop, you fianchetto yours. Knight here to try and develop, you will just play e3 and solidify your structure. They will go here trying to fork you. You will just move aside. And then rook c8, and then moving the bishop, and then if they castle, then you move your queen. Yeah, your setup just remains the same. And if you're scared of the knight coming in, just play this move. Yes, they can get their bishop in. Yes, they can do that, but you just move your thing. Not there, primarily like to the e-file. Yes, they can do this. Yes, they can. But what if you just move? I mean, queen that, I don't know what it is. And if they take, then you can open up the e-file. Or the f-file if you want. Depends on the matter of taste. But they're not trading their bishop for that. Although they might be kind of forced to do that because, you know, they're going to lose material. So you're going to take with the e-pawn. And then they will try to reinforce the d-file. Sorry, I was thinking the e-file, but it's the e-file. Then you can just take this, actually, and you're not completely horrible. And then you can move your bishop out and challenge their dark squares. Like, if you move, though, things might go a little wrong here. You need to be mindful of your opponent's counterplay. So what you need to do, after you get attacked, you need to go here, and if they trade, you take, and they trade even further, and they try to replace the rook, you'll just get in. Now there's a lot of threats on the position, and if they trade queens here, big mistake, because now everything, literally everything, is hanging in their position. They can try to choose your pawns. You're going to take, and push the pawn. And as you can see, after this move, you're going to go and win their pawns, and if they take your pawn, you'll take their pawn, fork of the pawns, and it's just going to be a pawn fest. You're just going to take each other's pawns. You can, of course, just go here. Far better move. If they give you a check, you're going to go here. And if they attack a rook, of course, you're just going to move aside. And this position might be going for a draw, but if they make a hasty move, you might get the advantage. And you can even give away this pawn, which is a ridiculous move, but the whole point is you're getting in, and if they attack you, you're winning. Because if they take this pawn, that's checkmate in one body. So you need to, like, go here and give away this pawn and this pawn, or now, you know, destroying the advantage. After this move, then you're going to take this pawn, and you're winning the endgame. So that is what will happen if they play like something like knight bd7. Very unlikely to see this, but it is possible. Let's reset the board. Now, apart from knight bd7, they might play something like this. Again, your setup will remain the same. You'll go here. I mean, they are closing down. You'll never see these two replies. Because, you know, your setup just remains the same. I mean, just... Oh, I did not mean to do that. Anyway. Another thing they play is try to fianchetto with the bishop. Very common. Again, you're going to do the same thing. You try to fianchetto. You'll go here. You'll castle. You'll go here. They can play like a5 here. You can go here, here, here. And after this, you'll castle. And they'll develop. And you can take in the outpost. And they try to fork you. Do not fall for the trap. You'll just go a here. And they try to do it. Move your rook, and now your rook is fine. You'll just need to spend a couple moves to get it out. And after a move like this, then you can just play the ridiculous g4, gambiting the spawn, but attacking everything. That is the whole point. You're gambiting a pawn, but you're going to attack two pawns at the same time, and you can't defend both of them. If they go here, takes, you go winning. Congratulations, to this +3, I can't give you larger advantage. Alright. So g6 is bad if, you know, they do that mistake. What about knight here? Setup remains the same. You'll go e3. Let's say they just take their bishop out. You'll go fianchetto. Actually, here in this case, it is bad because you're hanging this fork. So you need to be careful. Play a3 here. This is the one time that a3 is going to be useful. And so they play e6. You can develop your knight. They develop their bishop, literally somewhere. Fianchetto. They take, you will take. And that's what we didn't discuss. In this case, you can take and take. If they take, and they do like something like this, do not be worried. You can go back and do the fianchetto. like so. You can do this. You don't have to spend time on doing the fianchetto, but you can if you want to. Just know that most of the time, these positions will be very cagey. And they'll be very cagey. In this case, you need to take with the pawn because you're going to get the open b file. And you can just go here and castles, and their bishop is kind of trash, so they might trade it. And yeah, something like this might happen. That is the F4 Slav. I hope you enjoyed. Now we're gonna see some example games, and we're gonna call it here. And I'll see you guys next time. Now let's go for some example games. All right, the first example game. So we're gonna go with against the 1700. I drew this game, managed to draw it. I did mess up somewhere, not in the opening specifically, but my mental capabilities were a little high because it was after like the solo tournament. That was, I was kind of tired. So that was an afterburner. D4, D5, C4, C6, the Slav, and F4. Let's begin. E6, the reply that I told you. Knight F3, G3, G sub G2, C5. You can take the pawn, you can lock the structure, you can do here. I did not explain this in the full video, but I will explain it here now. Queen E7. You can even do this if you want, but I gave you a simpler version of it. I just was kind of drunk, in parentheses, because I was like, after the tournament, I was tired and shit. H6. Okay, bishop B2, just figuring both things. A3. A takes, rook takes, queen takes, castles, knight B8, queen B1, knight A6, knight A2. And a couple moves in, the drunkenness kicks in. And this position is slowly resembling a draw. Slowly and surely, it is going. I mean, after this, it was not a draw. Now it is a draw again. Because of this, and you need to trade. And I actually did not see that. I found the other move. After this, I'm actually surprised that it's still a draw. Because, the knight gets in. Now I'm not winning anymore. I mean, it's not a draw. I'm losing. And a couple moves in. This is a draw. So, again, I played it kind of differently. I mean, if you want to, you're feel free to, like, try out new things in the game, in the opening. Feel free to do that. I was doing that as, like, an afterburner, but I gave you a simpler version of the opening. And we agreed to a draw because this is an opposite color bishop endgame where the draws will, the bishop will just shuffle back and forth because there's literally nothing that black can do to get in. I know the engine is like, minus 0.2, but how are you going to get in? Let's play all the top ends and moves. Yeah, let's play all the top ends and moves. Yes, let's play all the top ends and moves. Look, oh no, the king is moving. Oh no. Oh no, the king is moving. Yes, the king is moving, guys. Oh no, he's going for the breakthrough. Oh no. Oh no, the king is break. You see what I'm doing? Like, all the pawns are the opposite square of their bishops. You cannot touch them. Not in that way, you weirdos. Okay, let's go to the next game. Alright. For the final game, again, I went with a slightly different approach with this one. I know one, of course. We got the regular setup. We have e6 once again. And like I told you, e6 will be kind of common. You will see e6 a little bit. I might have said you will not see it a lot, but you might see it a lot. Depends on the level you're playing. This was a 1600, 1500. You might even see it at, like, I don't know, 1000. But people don't like locking in their bishops for no reason. So you might not see it as much. But if, they have some semi-Slav course, they might do that. But I'm not sure. So again, we have knight f3, g3. Yeah, you can even gambit the pawn. Now, in this case, I'm kind of losing, but whatever. It's still fine. e5. Okay, strong knight. a4, undermining the structure. They don't like that. Takes, bishop g2. That's just a random notification from Twitter. Twitter does that. They just send, like, notifications from, like, random users you've never even met in your life. It's annoying. I will probably have to turn that off because it's annoying as fuck. Takes. We take with the b pawn. Bishop c6. Developing. Bishop b3. Castles. Rook b1. Rook b1. I'm joking. Queen a5. Queen c2. b4. Bishop c6. Bishop d2. Now I'm losing. b3 is real strong. Queen b2. And bishop a3. Queen a1. Yeah, it dropped a lot of advantage, honestly. And I did not see the queen being trapped here. I mean, the rack being a little stuck. I did not see that. Whatever. Knight d7. Bishop c1. b2. Now they're losing because a bishop takes b2. Rook a to b8. Then bishop takes a3. Takes the pawn. Oh, yes, they're getting in with their position, but Ooh. You know why this is winning? Because of here and you get pinned, so, yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, that did not happen. What, you really thought it was going to happen? Oh, look, I'm losing again. Yeah, this was a funny rapid game, but I didn't lose in the opening. I lost in the middle game. Yeah. We didn't have a lot of time, honestly. And they lost their queen. Again, if we ignore the ridiculous endgame, and we go back to before the advantage dropped off a cliff, like here. If I took this pawn and they took back like this, and I just moved my king, the game would have proceeded a lot more normally. But because I didn't do that, the endgame was a little more funny. I should have made this a video, honestly, and just lied that I was the player with the white pieces. Yeah. So that's that. Feel free to try out the F4 Slav counter. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.